You won't magically become a different person just because you change time zones. Maybe that sounds harsh, but think about it. If you're broke at home, then guess what? You'll be broke in Bangkok too. If you can barely make eye contact with a cashier at the grocery store, moving to Colombia isn't suddenly going to turn you into a social butterfly. And if you're scrolling through Passport Bro content thinking, that could be me, then let me give you a reality check. The Passport Bro movement is still going strong, and a lot of what you're seeing online is either straight up lies or guys selling you fantasies. After having traveled to 24 countries and living in Japan for around 5 months, I can tell you this much. Moving abroad is an opportunity, not a magic fix. It's a clean slate. Nobody knows you, nobody knows your past. You can become whoever you want. But here's the thing. If you show up unprepared, you're just going to become the same person you were before, just in a different area code. So in this video, I'm going to break down the 3 biggest problems Passport Bros are relocating instead of fixing, and what you actually need to work on before you leave. Because trust me, you can be a loser anywhere. So the first problem is poor social skills. Basically, you're awkward and you can't really talk to people in your own country. And then you think, moving to Thailand is going to magically fix this problem. But the reality is that you're still going to be awkward, you still can't make friends, but now you don't even speak the same language. So it's not going to be easier, it's going to be actually more difficult in many ways. Social skills is not something that just magically manifests. It's something you have to work on, something you have to grind. You have to go out there and talk to people. You can't just travel to a different country, one plane ride and you're good to go. That's not how it works. But for some reason, that's what a lot of these Passport Bros think. The second problem is that these Passport Bros don't have a stable income source. A lot of them are broke, barely scraping by it, maybe they have some money saved up, and they think, if I just move abroad, then everything will just work out. You know, it's so cheap overseas, so it's gonna be completely fine. I don't have to worry about money. Maybe I can get a job there, or when I move abroad, then social media is gonna pop off. I'm gonna get rich by making videos. But the reality is, if you're broke at home, you'll be broke abroad. But now you're in a country where you can't legally work unless you get a work visa, and you don't know the system. So then you're either gonna end up getting a dead-end job in this new country, which is gonna be like no difference than just getting a dead-end job in your own country, or they don't get a job, they think maybe the social media is gonna pop off, and then they just burn through all their savings in a few months and they have to move back eventually. So the third and final problem is that they're out of shape, unhealthy, got no discipline, and they don't take care of themselves. And for some reason, they think the exotic factor is going to compensate for all this crap. But the reality is that if you're moving to a foreign country and you think just because you're from a Western country is going to make you super attractive, that's not the case. For a lot of these Passport Bros, they're moving to Colombia, Thailand, poorer countries. So of course, they're going to get more attraction just because they're seen as a way out of poverty for a lot of these people. And that's just a brutal reality. Okay, so now that we're done with all the delusions, now we can actually look at the reality. Moving abroad gives you the chance to reinvent yourself, get a clean slate. Nobody knows you, nobody knows your past. But you have to be prepared, or you'll just become the same person you were, just in a new location. Like I said, you can be a loser anywhere. So how do we fix this? Well, you gotta work on these problems before you leave. So the first thing you have to do, work out, build a strong body, get a good looking physique. If you do this, you'll be more healthy, you'll feel better, and you're also gonna look better. Working out is like the single best thing you can do for your health and for your attractiveness, if you want to call it that. The second point is to get a stable online income source. And this can be your own online business, working remotely, becoming a freelancer, or you could also get a job at an international corporation or working in offshore. So the third thing is to train your social skills. Basically, just go outside, talk to people, join some new activities. You could also read some books on social skills, and then you go outside and try to implement what you learned in those books. But honestly, just just trying your best to be social, going outside and talking to people. Just doing that a lot is like the biggest bang for your buck you could do when it comes to social skills. So it's not that complicated. Just talk to people. So the fourth and final thing is just starting to learn the language and the cultural norms of the country you want to move to before you go there. This will just, like, obviously you'll be more prepared when you then arrive there. Look, I'm not telling you to not move abroad. What I am saying is that you shouldn't waste your opportunity. Moving gives you a chance to reinvent yourself, but only if you've done the work beforehand. And that's exactly what I help people with, preparing the right way so when you do land in a new country, you're actually ready to thrive, not just survive. And if that sounds interesting to you, then I do offer one-on-one coaching. First link in the description, go check it out. So to sum up everything I've been saying, don't relocate your problems. Fix them first, because then you get to live the life you actually want. See you next time.